Hi Year 5, welcome to this week's Reading Skills. It's Tuesday and we're getting ready for a new week of Reading Skills, which means a new text. Before we go any further, I'm sorry about the watermark that we've got on our screen at the minute. We're having a few problems with our school technology at the minute, trying to get that one sorted, so hopefully that won't be there for too many more lessons. Today we're going to focus on the E and R in Vipers. So that means we're looking at what two skills? That's right, we're explaining and retrieving. So as a bit of a warm-up, I thought this week we'll look at some works of art, some famous pieces of art, and we're going to apply our Vipers skills to art. So we're going to read a picture, if you like. We're going to today think about some vocabulary, some retrieval question, and explain. So the piece of art we're looking at today is one of my favourites. It's Wander Above the Sea of Fog by Caspar Friedrich. I love this painting. Something I really love about it is I love all the questions that go with it. It's full of it's a piece of art just full of unanswered questions. Who is he? Why is he there? Where has he been? Where's he going? All that sort of thing. So the vocabulary then, we'll look at the title of the picture, Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog. What does wanderer mean? What does wanderer mean? Retrieval, what does the wanderer have in his hand? What do you think the wanderer has in his hand? And explain. Can you explain how the artist creates mystery in the picture? How does the artist create mystery in the picture? So pause, have a think about those, and we'll come back with the answers. So wanderer means somebody who moves around, someone who doesn't necessarily have a fixed home or fixed place. They're moving around, wandering around. What he has in his hand there, a cane or a walking stick, something like that. Explaining them, a number of ways of answering this. I think you could say that the fog hides what's below, so you don't know too much about the land below him. You just see those mountain peaks peeking through. So there's some mystery in what's below. Also, there's the mystery of the man. As I say, we can't see his face. We can't see his expression. Is he gazing in wonder? Is he crying? Is he smiling? What's his story? What's the purpose of him standing on this cliff? So there's our little warm-up, gets us thinking about those Vipers questions. This week's reading skills is going to be all about chocolate. We're going to look at the manufacture of chocolate. Now, this ties in really nicely to our topic at the minute because it's got great links to the Mayans and their love of chocolate. So here we go. Chocolate from bean to bar. I'm going to read today's text, and then all questions will come afterwards. Chocolate from bean to bar. Have you ever wondered where your favourite chocolate bar comes from? Well, it all begins with the humble cocoa bean. It must travel many miles and go through lots of complex processes before it starts to resemble the delicious chocolate bar you can buy from your local shop. Follow the 8 different stages of production and track the journey of the cocoa bean from bean to bar. Pause and think, what are we going to find out about here? What's this text going to look like? What do you expect to be within the text? Well, we know we're going to have 8 stages, and we can see below stage 1 is coming straight away. We know what we're going to find out. We're going to find out about production, the journey of a cocoa bean from bean to bar. So maybe we're going to find out about factories. Maybe we're going to find out about how cocoa beans are turned into bars of chocolate. Let's start at the beginning then, stage 1. So, stage 1, the trees. The journey begins with the cacao tree, or Theobroma cacao, which is unsurprisingly translated as the food of the gods. The trees grow in countries with hot, damp climates, such as Ghana in Africa and Brazil in South America. In fact, they can be grown in any place within 20 degrees latitude, the equator. Cocoa trees can grow up to 30 feet. It's actually quite short for trees which grow in this climate and are usually about 5 years old before it begins to flower. Cocoa pods can be a wide variety of colours, such as green, yellow, purple or orange. As well as growing on branches, the pods can sprout from the trunk of the tree itself, which looks quite bizarre. Inside each pod are the precious cocoa seeds, the source of that special chocolate taste. Just going to move this now so we can see that. There we go. With great effort, cocoa farmers use hand towels to harvest ripened cocoa pods. They use a machete to slice ripe pods from the trees and tirelessly gather them into baskets. This type of work is time-consuming and physically taxing. Let's just pause and think about that word taxing there. What does that tell us about how hard the work is? This type of work is time-consuming and physically taxing. Let's make a link to the word tax that we know when we pay a tax for living in a country, or when we buy a product, we pay tax on it. That's extra money paid. If something's physically taxing, we're not paying money, we're paying with physical exertion. As well as this, the trees are at risk. We're going from there. As well as this, the trees are at risk from damage and disease. Life can be pretty tough for a cocoa farmer, which there are over 2 million in the world. Because of this, special fair trade cooperatives have been set up to support cocoa farmers and their families. This ensures they get a better deal and a fair price for all of their hard work. Right, you're going to use this to answer the questions a little bit later. So what we'll do is we'll have it here where the watermark isn't in the way of the top section. You could pause it here if you need it, and then I'll leave it there so you can see it as well. But as always, I will put the file with the text and the questions in the files in Teams. Here come the questions for today. Question 1. How many stages of production are there from bean to bar? Question 2. What is the Latin name for the cacao tree? Question 3. What is the translation of that Latin name? Question 4. You need to match the statements to the correct answer. So, the years for a cacao tree to flower, is that 30, 20 or 5? And then do the same for the other two. Question 5. What's strange about how the cacao pod grows? Question 6. Explain why a cacao tree cannot be grown outdoors in the UK. It's a 2-mark question, so you'll need to make 2 clear points in your explanation of why a cacao tree cannot be grown outdoors in the UK. And question 7 is another explain question here. Do you think life is hard for a cacao farmer? Use the text to explain your answer. Do you think that life is hard for a cacao farmer? Use the text to explain your answer. 3 marks available, so going to make a clear answer, whether you think it's yes or no, and then make at least 2 points. Make at least 2 points to get the full 3 marks. Right, so I'm now moving on to the answers. Here we go. There were 8 stages of production from bean to bar. The Latin name for the cacao tree was Theobroma cacao. The translation of the Latin name was food of the gods. It takes 5 years for a cacao tree to flower. It's 20 degrees latitude from the equator. And a cacao tree can grow up to 30 feet. What's strange about how the cacao pods grow is that the pod grows on the trunk. A cacao tree cannot be grown in the UK because it has to be within 20 degrees of the equator, and the UK is further away. So the UK doesn't have the right conditions. It's not warm enough here, it's not hot enough for it to grow here. Do you think life is hard for a cacao farmer? Well, quite often with these kind of questions, I end up saying to people, well, you can say yes or no, so long as you've got the evidence. I think here there was not really any evidence for the answer no, so you did need to say yes for 1 mark. Did they use, the reasons you could say is because they used hand tools, and they gather the fruit by hand. You could say about how the trees get diseases, and this means sometimes losing their crops. You can say how the work is physically taxing. It's hard work for a cacao farmer. Okay, there we are. That's reading skills for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with our next one. As always, if there's anything you need from the lesson, you'll find it in files, and I'll see you tomorrow.